What up, comic book fam? Happy new comic book day, November 10th, 2021. My 10 book limit goal is still in effect, and I continue to miss that goal. This week, I missed it by 3 books, and I went ahead and added 2 books that I really thought I might drop, but when I got into the shop, I couldn't help but add them. Stick around to check out what those books were. Starting off with DC Comics as usual, we've got Joker number 9 from King James Tynion IV. I have been enjoying this story about Commissioner Gordon hunting down the Joker and possibly killing him as a contract kill. I've liked that story. I've enjoyed the setup for Lady Vengeance. I think she's an interesting character. And I felt like this issue moved the story forward sufficiently to satisfy me, so definitely going to be sticking in for number 10. Still with DC Comics, we got Batman the Imposter number 2. Now this was one that I initially had passed on when it came out, but I got on comic book YouTube and the buzz was real, convinced me to go ahead and go back and get it on a FOMO run, and I was glad that I did. I thought this Batman setup is interesting. I like the world, I like the griminess of it, and I'm real interested in where they're gonna go next. Sticking in for number 2. Next up from DC Comics, we've got Robin and Batman. This was one of the books that screwed up my 10 book limit. I was really sitting at 11 books, which was one over the best I would have done yet, but the hype was real for Batman and Robin. I had a friend who highly recommended it, said Jeff Lemire did a great job. I checked out my homie Robbie over at Pop Culture Philosophers, and he gave it another good review, so that was enough for me to break my 10 book limit even further and go ahead and add this one in. Moving on to Marvel Comics, they are back after a 2-week hiatus. We've got Amazing Spider-Man 78 from Kelly Thompson as the writer. We got Arthur Adams on the cover. I've been buying Amazing Spider-Man, but haven't really been reading it yet. I'm letting it stack up a bit, so I'll let you know someday, but for now, we're just picking them up. Still with Image Comics, we've got Eternals number 7. I have been enjoying this Eternals run. I find the whole Eternals lore interesting, and so I'm sticking with it. I like Kieran Gillen's writing style so far, and I'm loving Isaac Ribic's style in terms of the art. So this isn't the best book to get right now, but it's strangely one of my favorites. Really enjoying it. Still with Marvel Comics, we've got Alien number 8. Then this was another one that I had decided I was going to drop off of this one. I like it, but I don't love it, and so I was gonna try and cut this one. Well, when I got to the checkout, I decided to go back and grab this one and add it. I wasn't quite ready to give up on it yet, so screwing up that limit, but hey, it's good to have goals, right? Next up from Blue Juice Comics, we've got Billy the Kid number 2. This is one that I've been hyping quite a bit. We've got this tornado god who killed out an entire town, leaving just a sickly rabbit, and now this sickly rabbit is grown up and seeking revenge against this tornado god. We've got some fun, grimy dialogue with curse words and whatnot, so it's definitely not a kid's book, but it makes it more interesting with some funny stuff going on there. And I'm really enjoying the art from Barry McLean Jr. in this book. So not a lot of buzz around this one, but I am enjoying it. I'm buzzing it myself. If you see it out and about, I highly recommend you give it a go. Billy the Kid. Moving on to AWA Upshot, we've got Out. This is about World War II. Germany is losing, and in an effort to stave off the loss, they have unleashed a vampire. I really love the mood, the feel, the art of this setup here. Really enjoyed it. Was looking forward to number 2. I read number 2. I liked this one as well. Really looking forward to number 3. But if World War II and vampires interest you, I highly recommend you jump in on this one from AWA Upshot. Still with AWA Upshot, we've got Telepaths number 3. Now, I recently quickly read 1 and 2 on this one, trying to decide whether or not I was going to stick around for number 3. And I definitely am going to stick around for number 3. You have this world event, this solar flare that has unlocked this telepathic abilities in some of the population. Interesting setup. Don't know how I feel about it exactly, but I'm interested and curious enough to stick around for number 3. Moving on to Dark Horse Comics, we've got May's book number 3 from Jeff Lemire. This was my number 1 book of the week if you looked at my top 10 preview for November 10th books. I am really enjoying this story from Jeff Lemire. It's really tugging at my heartstrings as a father, and I'm really curious about what's really going on here, so excited to jump back in for number 3. Moving on to Image Comics, we've got What's the Furthest Place from Here. I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I've seen some people give it good reviews. I know the writer and the artist have worked on something before that was quite popular, so Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers gave it a good review. That was enough for me to go ahead and add it to my list. Sticking with Image Comics, we've got A Thirst for Vengeance #2. I am enjoying this one. I like the way they're telling the story through art more than words. I'm finding that interesting. And this sort of contract killer setup, this sort of subtle, slow burn is interesting to me. So I'm excited to see what's happening next here. Last from Image Comics, we've got the 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. This is the final issue in the first arc. This has been a funny story. This was another one that I was thinking about dropping just to try and catch my 10-book limit. But I like it enough that I couldn't part with, especially with it being the last issue in the arc. I couldn't let it go just yet. So we'll finish up the first arc and we'll decide if that's something we need to stick with. All right, let me know, as always, what was your read of the week? What was your cover of the week? For me, read of the week, gonna go with May's book #3 from Jeff Lemire. Like I said, as a father, that story's really been tugging at my heartstrings and it's got me locked in for what's really going on and what's next. So really excited to read that one. Cover of the week, I'm gonna cheat because I don't have it in hand, but I did purchase online the Billy the Kid #2 variant from John Gallagher over at Uncanny Knack Comics. I really loved that cover. It was #2 on my top 10 art for the week, and really excited to get that one in. As you know, I'm feeling Billy the Kid and really have high hopes for it. So definitely gonna go with that one for the cover of the week. But I bet you got a better read of the week, a better cover of the week. Let me know down below in the comments what you got for me. Always interested in what y'all are hyped about, because I might be hyped about it too. But that's all I got for you this time. Until next time, peace, comic book fam.